What's up, my peoples? I am Gandhi, and today this is Gandhi's Thoughts number 44. We're approaching 50 with the quickness. But more importantly, this weekend we have AGL7 Knoxville coming up. It's a humongous event taking place in Knoxville. A lot of money to be made. But more importantly, a lot of you are going to say, well, why are you doing another bracket show? And the reason is because shady kids are always going to be shady, and it's inevitable in all of professional gaming. As soon as there's a team and there's an open bracket, the shadiness is just on another level that can't even be measured. So a lot of teams disbanded, everything crazy. So I'm going to catch you guys up with a very, very quick recap as to what's going on. So when we take a look at the first, this is the top 16, and those are my picks, whatever, I don't care. You guys get your little sneak peek. But if you notice, there is no pure. At all attending this event now. Now, the reason why Pure is not attending, you still have, give me 2 seconds here, you still have Spartans or Siege, but you do not have Platinum and you do not have Trey or Trey Tree, whatever you want to call them, doesn't matter. The reason why is because Trey, best of wishes to your grandmother. She's got some health issues going on with her. I don't feel like getting in here to talk about it because it's not my place. But best of wishes to you. So they disbanded, right? Obviously, I'm assuming they'll get back together in the future. But as it stands now, they are no more. So their seed got thrown out, okay? So the pure seed got completely disbanded, and that's that. So then that caused everyone to move up a notch. So when you're looking at this, if you look right down here at the bottom, you see that Pulse Classic is now the 7th seed when they were the 8th. So that changes everything, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Now, the next thing that happened, for those of you who are actually curious, is that, once again, when you look at this, there is no Team Cynical. In fact, the Snakes and all of those guys are actually not even attending now. Just, the fuck, man. Like, I want to punch you guys in the face because it makes my job so much harder. And it really screws everything up. And I know Siren just hit me up because we just launched the teambeyond.net website that everyone really likes right now. There's at least good feedback so far. And he was like, I'm updating the site every day because kids are just going fucking crazy, quitting and all this stuff. And I'm like, I know, man. People have a hard time committing. The main thing I want to get at here before I get into this bracket show is if you have doubts that you can't attend an event, don't give someone 100%. Don't be like, oh yeah, man, going. I just bought my plane ticket. And then when, I don't know, June 3rd comes around, don't be like, oh, dude, I can't go, dude. There's just no fucking way I can. Are you kidding? Why would you waste time practicing with a team that you're going to fuck over in the last couple of days? Like, you realize no one likes that guy? Like, everyone knows that. And then what happens is you end up building a reputation of this, and then you're never going to get on a team. So rest in pieces, all right? That's what I'm saying. Go fuck yourself if you're shady. I don't like you at all. Anywho, so we have now got our top 16 seeds. We are good. Everything is locked in. Hopefully everything is locked in. God knows there may be another team change, but you know what? We are going off of this bracket and this bracket alone. But so back again, so with pure seeds disbanded, everyone below them moved up one notch, and then Cynical's the same thing. Everyone moved up one notch. Without further ado, it is time to talk about the top half of the bracket. Now, the top half of the bracket here, the matches I highlighted are the ones I obviously think are going to be the best. But this one right here, Ambush versus Cepidus, there is no reason why Ambush should not just wipe the floor with them. There just isn't. Ambush is too dominant of a team, so you can go ahead and advance them in your bracket because God knows I am. And if you have them losing in that round, you're a joke. Now, keep in mind, it is subject to change. That it may not be Cepidus, it may be someone else, because I just took the top 16 seeds and I'm running with my bracket from that way. But this is the matchup I really want to talk about right here. Now, this is something that was both affected by the pure seed disbanding and the Cynical. Now, Slaughter was the 10th seed after everything else happened, right? And then Cynical disbanded. Cynical was 9, Slaughter was 10. And now Slaughter now gets to move up a notch. Now they get to play Believe the Hype. Now these two teams, now if you guys aren't familiar with Slaughter, Slaughter is going to be consisting of Regicide, Neighbor, Ares, and Best Man. Now, number one, Best Man's riding down with me to Knoxville, so obviously I still like Best Man, but the one thing we all should know about Best Man, and if you don't know, I'm going to tell you about it right now. Best Man is habitually a person who does not play that much Halo as it is, and with Halo 4 it's kind of like doubled, maybe even tripled. But regardless, the one thing you do know about him is that he has the uncanny ability to show up to events and dominate regardless of practice or not. He understands Halo, he knows how to shoot, and he gets in other people's heads just because it's like, when he kills someone, it boosts his confidence and it lowers theirs. So if he out PRs someone, which he's going to due to the update, which is a 4-shot and everything like that, which is only going to benefit him and his team. But when he outshoots someone like Cloud or Maniac, it's going to go right in their head. They're going to be like, dude, he's got like 3 days played. Like, what the fuck is going on? Right? Like, he's a non-gamer. Like, that's traditionally how it works out. But the one thing I really want to point out to you here is right here at the top. Right here at the top, it says this is a best of 3. So this whole round is best of 3s. That's fucking scary. So it's the first to win two games, wins it, takes it. So Team Slayer, objective Team Slayer. That's pretty scary shit for a match of BTH versus Slaughter. Now, the big thing about Believe the Hype is that Believe the Hype is just unbelievably awful online. They should not ever win any scrim versus anyone ever, period. They don't have the mental ability for it. In my opinion, when Cloud streams, when I listen to him, I'm just like, I hear his teammates, and I'm like, it doesn't even sound like they're having fun. Everything's just like a chore to them. Everything's just bullshit. Nothing's working. It's like, you know what I mean? It's not the best thing. I don't like seeing it. I don't like listening to it. But regardless, they're getting on. They're playing. Their sleep schedule's crazy. They're up at like 3 a.m. scrimming. It's weird as shit. So I mean, they're actually practiced for this event. And at Pittsburgh, they beat a lot of good teams, and they took second with a different roster. They did have Enable and they did have Dursky, but it doesn't matter. So regardless, I mean, they're hanging out with Cloud and Blaze and Lethal, right? It's Cloud, Lethal, Blaze, and Maniac. So the team's really good. Now, who do I have advancing in this bracket? It's, like, I don't want to ever belittle Slaughter just because, they have the Neighbor, right? There was a time way back in the day when my team Carbon actually singled out Neighbor individually, and all 4 of us just attacked him because he was such a threat. And then he was also the 2008 best overall player in Halo 3. He's won countless amount of events. He's a very, very good player. And he's been playing the game more, right? Like, he has. He's definitely getting better, but, if I were to bet money on it, I would have to go Believe the Hype. But if I wasn't betting money on it and it was just for sheer shock effect, I would go Slaughterhouse, right? But for the case of my brackets here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move up BTH. And the reason why is one is because of practice. But 2, the other thing is I think that I don't know if Slaughter can compete with them. It's a best of 3, and regardless of the little amount of practice that Best Man's gotten and everything else like that, I don't see BTH losing to them. I think they may lose game 1. I think they'll probably lose the Team Slayer, and then they'll close out. I see BTH winning 2-1. So, moving down here, you're going to notice I have Reality Check winning over Immortal. I don't think that should even be a question. Unless Reality Check just absolutely shits the bed, they move on. And the same with Status Quo versus New Breed. I would talk about both of those teams, but, I mean, New Breed has 4 players. I literally have no idea who they are. I'm involved in the scene. I've never even, I wouldn't even know where to start, right? I wouldn't. Now, Immortal, on the other hand, like, there is actually some good players on it, but I just, when I look at Immortal, right, so I know you guys don't have the team list, and I'll screen cap it at the end, and I'll throw it up there, but Immortal consists of Valen, Elumnite, Hoaxer, and Kizats. Okay, that's a good team, right? That is a solid team. Like, that's a top 16, top 12 team. But Reality Check's a top 16, possibly top 4, maybe top 3 team. Like, Reality Check should not have a problem. And they are at their own stomping ground. They are at Battlefield Knoxville. Now, I know a lot of times in the past, in these past local events, that you see Reality Check and you're like, oh, what the hell? Like, Are the Suds actually trying to lose this? Like, what the hell's going on here? But you know what? They've been closing. So the Suds are getting better and better and better in regards to the tournament setting, which is always something that's humongous. And, having that kind of home field advantage, because Pure also had that home field advantage, but you know what? They lost it. So Reality Check now has home field advantage. They have a lot of things going for them. They don't have to travel that far. The Suds get to just kind of get in the car and hop in there and go. So that alleviates a humongous burden. Everything, it feels more natural to them. But so on the other side, Immortal, Elum Knight, we did see him at Nashville. He was a monster. He was playing very, very well. But I don't think that's going to be enough at all. I think even though Alum Knight and Hoaxer, that duo, could potentially be good, I just not seeing it. So flipping down to the bottom here, we had the first matchup. We have Severance versus Mercy. And, Mercy's this team that I think Mercy, I mean, you guys already see it. Obviously, I have Severance just dwarfing them. But, Murphy is Sacrifice, Deathy, Rage, and Stress. Like, they are online kids. Like, you guys are online kids. Like, Deathy and Merkage, Winner. Like, these guys, I know that's not the team, but you guys are all kind of online kids. Like, it's time for you guys to fucking put up or shut up. Like, are you going to do well at an event or not? Right now, you have your chance. I mean, Severance tried to drop one of their players and acquire Spartan, and then Arena Gaming was like, no. And so then they went back to their original lineup, right? Like, so they can't feel good. And I know people are like, oh, well, actually, he just couldn't fucking make the event, and we just wanted to get Spartan. No, fuck you. Everyone sees right through your bullshit. You didn't want to team with them. You had your doubts. Get the fuck out of here, right? But so it's time for Mercy, the players on Mercy, to say, okay, well, are we going to do well? Sacrifice, I think, has the best placing, and he was at Pittsburgh on Team Swarm, right? Sacrifice is like a semi-professional soccer player in Canada. And I think he has the best placing out of everyone at a normal event on this team. Sacrifice is in team captain. I've met the guy. He's a good dude. Funny, kind of, well, not funny, really. I take that back. He's not funny. He kind of laughs at everything you say. So I think that kind of makes people, the people who laugh at everything and you're like, oh, okay, you're having fun. That's him. So dropping back down here. This one right here, I stopped and I thought about it for a second, and then I really wanted to. I was really debating changing my pick. Right now, Hold Your Pulse is, I'm assuming it's a ripoff of Check Your Pulse. It's going to be Spartan, Sir Siege, Showtime, and Six Story. 4 S's. So alliteration aside, the team's really good. Like, individually skilled, they're really good. But the one thing that kind of sticks out to me is, one, Six Story is called Stat Story for a reason. He's traditionally known as statting or power weapon whoring, and, he gets kind of caught up in that. Spartan, I've seen the exact same things happen to him. He is a Slayer. That is what he does. So when I look at the makeup, I'm like, maybe they're going for this whole, like, ambush kind of strategy here, right? You see ambush and you're like, okay, they have 2 main Slayers. They have Snipe Down and Formal, and then, you got your fucking quicker Pier-Upper or quicker Fixer-Upper and Hines, and then you got a Wizard, right? Like, maybe they're trying to go for that. But then at the same time, it's like, well, I don't know about Sir Siege and Showtime. Like, I don't know how this team's going to gel together. So with that said, when I look at crowd pleasers, I go, 1, maybe Kratos won't miss a fucking 1-shot, 7 shots, and I know he's probably sitting there like, oh, well, I fucking hit the wall like 3. You still fucking choked, bro. Like, it's a bad choke. It is a terrible play, no matter how you spin it. If you were hitting the wall, fucking strafe out and hit the 1-shot, right? Rest in pieces. So I think crowd pleasers takes it, no questions asked. And then coming back down here, we're starting to really. I'm gonna work my way up. I'm gonna go from Warriors versus Pulse Classic. This should be a no-brainer right here. Classic and Warriors should just be 2-0. Move on. Let's go into the next round, right? So now this round right here that we're gonna be in, I have 3 matches highlighted because there's 3 matches that are absolutely fucking humongous. This being my favorite one to look at. Now, Pulse, I know a lot of people are saying Pulse right now, and they're like, who the fuck is Pulse? Is that Ambush? What happened? No, don't worry. Sky's not falling down. Shit's not crazy. Classic had part ways with Fnatic, and now they decide to pick up, or they decide to join Pulse for the free travel and all the other hookups that they get. So, salute. They now have that. They, that's a big burden alleviated, and something that a lot of people care about is just having their travel covered. And I understand that because when I was a player, that's all I was looking for, and I never got it. So booking your own flights, as much as a prima donna as it's going to sound, fucking sucks and it's tedious. And plus, when you're young and you're not 21, you can't get some hotel rooms, right? So there you go. But Pulse vs. Warriors. Pulse vs. Warriors, this is a blood match. There's so many storylines here, and I'm going to start off with the biggest storyline here. And the biggest storyline is that Classic vs. Warriors, Warriors decides to drop a really good noob and pick up APG. Now, picking up APG is a no-brainer. Should they have dropped Rynoob? I'm asking you. I think it's fine. I think in the long haul it's going to work out. I think the fact that Goofy has been in Pakistan-ish, somewhere in the Middle East, for 2 weeks is questionable, but I think in the long haul, Warriors is going to end up pulling it out. So they really have to dust it off. I know last night Goofy got home right off a plane and they were gaming. They were playing Reality Check. I watched like 3 games and then I passed out. So that's good, right? But, they dropped a really good noob. So a really good noob joins this team, and now it's a really good noob versus Warriors, a really good noob versus Ninja, a really good noob versus APG. Like, that's the big one. Like, how dare you drop APG for me? But really, it's a really good noob basically telling Ninja, every individual battle he gets it's in his mind, it's going to be like, why wouldn't you drop legit for me? I just outshot him. Why wouldn't you drop Goofy for me? I just outshot him. Like, that's going to be a lot of intensity, and if there's one thing a really good noob does a lot better than everyone else, is he gets into people's minds with the quickness. With the fucking quickness, right? And that's going to be very, very hard for them, and they're used to that, but it's going to be a lot of trash talk going on right here. So that's 5 storylines basically right there in one fucking player in this match. That's for top 6. The winner of this moves on to top 6. But right now, this is for top 12, right? Like, it's fucking scary, right? Like, these are 2 juggernaut teams meeting up this early. It's going to be awesome. I know everyone's looking forward to it. I'm going to get crazy here. But so, on the other side, then on the other side, you have Classic with Mikwin. Now, Mikwin has his own fucking storyline here because Mikwin has been just overshadowed by Ninja his entire gaming career. They came into the scene together. They played together. Ninja got instant success because he used to wear this fruity fucking cow hat. If you guys saw it back then, I don't know how it worked, but it worked. But Ninja's personality is just huge, right? He's hilarious. But so Mikwin kind of got this like feeling of like he wasn't as good as Tyler, and he didn't realize like that he was as good as Tyler, and sometimes he's better, and then Tyler is sometimes better than him. Like, he really had this big complex with them. And I remember I sat down and I talked with him. I did a commentary over a Dispatch Capture the Flag game recently on my YouTube with him, and I remember I was sitting down with him. I was like, dude, Austin, like, you're a really good player, but you don't realize that you can be better than Ninja. I was like, I know you guys came in like hand in hand, but like, the fuck, man, like, you got to realize that you're just as good, and you just have to perform. And then like, somehow, but like on Reach, he admits that he was like really good online. This is Mikwin we're talking about. But then on LAN, like, he wasn't as good, but he was still good. This game, he's like okay online, but on LAN, he's really good. So he's made a very, very big transition, and that's something that always happens in a play, like the evolution of a player. And it just really means that you're more comfortable on LAN, you feel better. So let's talk about this matchup, right? Now, Pulse Classic is going to be a team that is going to be very aggressive. They are going to be in your face, in your base. They don't give a flying fuck about a sniper, right? They have 4 selfless players. I think Shig's been grabbing the sniper a little bit for Classic, and so has Mikwin, right? But so they push up with it. They're not passive patties with it at all. They don't play like a snipe down who kind of waits for their angle or anything like that. They shove with it. So that's going to be really interesting for Warriors because Warriors has a very, very aggressive feel as well, but they're not as aggressive, right? Like as Classic. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. What it really is going to come down to, it's going to come down to the breakdown of the game types here. And I think maps without a sniper, depending, like, I see them winning, I see Classic winning maps without a sniper, like, hands down. Like, but then again, you got APJ, like, it's so tough, right? Like, it really, really is, like, a very, very tough matchup. I think the key is going to be is who comes on hotter, right? And in competitive gaming, especially in Halo, it really comes down to the day and how players are playing. Like, right now in this game, there's still sprint, movement's getting, the positioning, you're getting more rewarded for it, but in this game, like, a big part of it is winning individual battles. And if Classic comes out extremely aggressive, like I think they're going to come out, and Warriors is going to come out like the same way. If Warriors comes in with this like fucking ego head, they're going to shit the bed and they're not going to win the series. They're going to get 3-1. Like if Warriors like, fuck it, we're better, we know it, that kind of fucking thing, over, right? Just they're going to get 3-1 and it's going to be the rest of pieces, right? But at the same time, like that's why, man, like I really think Saturday when this team plays, I think I'm going Classic. And the reason is because this fucking matchup right here is all this team cares about. It's all they care about. They don't care about ambush. They don't care about any other fucking team. All they care about is beating Warriors. I've had that mentality before. I've had that mentality taking on Final Boss. I've had that mentality taking on Straight Rippin' back in the day. Like, it fucking works. It really, honest to God, works. And when you're gunning for one team, like, it's scary, man, but I'm going to call the upset here. I know it's not the safe bet at all, but I'm just based on how it all is working out in the members of Classics or Pulse's mind, I just don't see them losing in the winner's bracket to them. I just don't. I don't see it. I see them advancing into the winners bracket semifinals, but it's not like Warriors is going to go anywhere. They're gonna fall down, and I mean, keep in mind also, AGL Nashville, like Warriors lost to fucking Status Quo on Saturday. That's real life. Like, you lost to Status Quo, Warriors. You know what I mean? Like that's that. I'm taking Classic, man. I really am. It's I can go ahead and advance them. Now this matchup is a little bit more hard for me. Like, if this was Hold Your Pulse taking on Severance, I think Hold Your Pulse has a much better matchup with them over besides Crowd Pleasers. But like Crowd Pleasers, obviously, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm not biased, but like I just don't. I think I just don't take this team seriously. Like I don't. Like they just kind of seem like this team. Like I remember Kratos, his dumbass, was like he tweeted me saying, "Oh, I only get on like twice a month or something." Like, so if you don't take yourself seriously, like, I'm not gonna fucking take you seriously. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't get the spotlight, right? But like Severance with Sargoth. So the correction from last event, Sargoth actually did not play on Severance at AGL Pittsburgh, so I apologize for that. He had a Severance shirt on. I didn't cast a single Severance match, so I wouldn't have known. But so, with the addition of Sargoth, I think the team, it's tough, right? Like I've heard good things about them from playing them online, from people playing them online. I've also heard bad things. So I really don't know. But I think in the matchup versus Crowd Pleasers, in a best of 5, I think it goes the distance, but I think Severance goes with it, right? Like. And the reason is because I just don't trust the mental capabilities of Crowd Pleasers, right? Like I watched Munoz fucking rocket his teammate, rocket himself at Nashville. I watched Kratos have the worst choke in the history of the world at Pittsburgh. You guys can Google it. It's hysterical. AGL6 Kratos choke. Hashtag. I'm going to be hashtagging all weekend because I want to see if anyone's going to fuck it up worse than that. But, like, I just don't, like, when the game's on the line, like, you want to have those players who are clutch. You don't want to have those players who, like, aren't. So, really, I'm calling out Munoz and Kratos. I don't care what happens. That's that. So, to be a betting man here, I'm going to go ahead and advance on Papa Sev's SVR into the semifinals. And so this is how it's going to be looking like. So on the bottom half, this is going to be our top 6. This is my predictions as well. So Severance or Pulse will be guaranteed top 3. Now, flipping on to the other side. Now, this side is a little bit more tricky. But I'm going to go ahead and just do this and get this out of the way right now because it is it's kind of a waste. It's kind of a waste to not do it. So the reason why I'm going to go ahead and just take Ambush and just advance them over there is because Believe the Hype cannot, period, ever compete with Ambush. They just can't. Ambush is smarter. They shoot better. They have better teamwork. Last night I watched some of the most impressive Halo 4 I think I've seen today. I remember, I forget what the game type was, but after it, Snipe Down goes, I don't think I ever shot by myself in a single battle. That's pretty fucking nuts. Like, I'm watching them swarm and attack everything in sight. And a lot of people like to say, oh, well, you know what? Some people get kind of crazy, right? And there's times where I agree with them because I watch, like, Ambush Scrim, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But, like, some people get a little bit crazy and they're like, oh, well, Ambush's teamwork isn't as good with Pistola as it was with APG. Right? And people are like, what the fuck? Like, and then, like, people start believing that, right? Like, they hear this stuff and then they have to take it for a grain of salt. And there's times where I buy into it myself. It really is. And then, like, times like last night come in and I'm like, yeah, fucking right, dog. Like, this team is disgusting. And that was it. So that's going to be a 3-0. Hands down, no motherfucking questions asked. Ambush annihilates BTH. Now, as you can see, this one is going to be highlighted, okay? And the reason why I want to highlight it is because, one, like I said, we have RC right here with home field advantage. They've been playing online. They look actually really good last night. They were playing Warriors. Like I said, I only watched 3 games, so I don't know what happened after that. But I did see the infamous Sud2 tweet, Overkill Exterm 5-0 for the win, Haven Extraction, right? I watched it too. There was like 4 people desperate in the last arm, and he just got an overkill. But regardless, it's still an overkill Exterm. So Reality Check has home field. They have the same team they went to Nashville with, where they got top 6. I forget who they beat in the quarterfinals to advance to the semifinals, but they got there, right? Then on the other side, you have Status Quo. Okay, Status Quo is no joke, ever. All right, they have acquired Dursky for Assault, and they also have picked up Ace. Now, this team has been playing more and more. Their schedule is a little bit hectic. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't say that I've watched them play a single time. Yeah, their schedule is like the complete polar opposite of me, but I've talked to certain people. I remember I was talking to Pure, and, Status Quo's been said to have a tri-host or a quad host because Ace apparently went up there to someone's house, so they were making people quit a lot. So Status Quo is just, they're a team who obviously, one, is going to benefit from 4 shots. These 4 players in Halo 3 and Halo Reach were top 4 teams, right? They've been there, they've won events, they know how it's done. The only one on this team who hasn't won an event is Dursky. But he also took 2nd at the 2011 National Championship, so so he knows his way around a tournament or 2. Like, he's a very, very good player. And the good thing I like about them is by acquiring Dursky is a player who has very, very good communication. He's also a leader in his own way. So you have Dursky, who's a leader. You have Flamesword, who's a leader. You have Ace, who is brilliant. He's just a super smart player. And then you have Enable, who's just a fucking savage, man. He's so talented at just everything he does. Like, a sniper touches his hands, and he destroys people with it. Now, when I look at the matchup, from what I've heard, Status Quo is just about the most aggressive team on the face of this circuit. It's extremely hard for teams to adjust to that. But the big thing here is it's a battle of veteran experience. And now, so for clear, when I say veteran experience, I'm not talking about people who have just been to events a couple times. I'm talking about people who have been tested, who have been MLG main stage tested for multiple events. And by that I mean they've lost Saturday in the winner or in the winners bracket, like quarterfinals, and they come all the way the fuck back to be in the winners or the winners final or the losers finals and then finals. That is a veteran. That is someone who's been tested. Even if you lose quarterfinals and you make it all the way to top 4, you have been tested. Those hours are tested. Not just because you go to a couple events and you get top 32. That is not being a fucking veteran. That means you've been around for a long time. That doesn't make you a fucking veteran. Period. That's how I look at it. So it's really veteran experience taking on reality check, right? I don't know how the matchup's honestly going to end up. But I'll tell you what, if reality check wins, status quo is going to be quitting. There's no way Ace will ever play this game again if he loses to reality check, period. I know it for a fact. It's over. Ace already doesn't like the game that much, so then you take that and you have him getting embarrassed by reality check, then it's rest in pieces. So, but when I look at it, I think it'll go the distance for sure. It all depends on what reality check shows up on Saturday. Now, the reality check we saw show up on Saturday at Nashville was disgusting. They were really, really good. They took a game from ambush. Sud 1 and 2 were destroying everything and everyone, and they were doing very, very well. So if Sud 1 and 2 come out the same way they did at Nashville on Saturday, status quo's in for a world of hurt, right? But on the other side, and if status quo comes out the normal way, I think status quo loses. But if status quo comes out, practice like they are, I mean, they have the 2-week crunch coming in hot. They apparently have, I guess they've all been at the same house, or 2 of them have been at the same house working on teamwork. I would be doing a disservice to the members of status quo if I did not pick them to win this. And the reason is just because they have so much veteran experience. I can't. These guys have been so tested that there's just no possible fucking way I can logically say that reality check can beat them. And like it's a possibility, right? It really is. Like reality check has the potential of beating them, but I just don't see it happening. Now, that's probably a better thing for reality check in all honesty. It's probably better that reality check goes through the losers bracket and then works their way back up. Because what happened last time was they got to the winners semifinals and then they were guaranteed top 6, and that's what they finished with top 6. Sometimes you want that momentum going through the losers bracket to kind of carry you into it. You don't want to just be waking up at like 11, coming down to the venue, wiping your eyes, and then you're playing a team who's just been battling all the way for top 12, right? It gets scary. So bottom half of the bracket, I have Severance taking on Pulse. I think. With that said, now this is Pulse's classic. Once again, I got to keep telling myself that because I'm going to fuck myself up. I don't realistically. If Pulse gets by Warriors like I think they're going to, they're not going to have a problem with Severance. I think Severance is on a whole drop scale below them, and I think Classic is just going to steamroll them. I'm honestly putting a humongous spotlight on Miquin. I think this is his time to shine at this event. And I think he's actually really content with this team. And the fact that he has a player like Rydnoob who actually is teaching him things, right? Like he's actually understanding the game. I think it's happening. I personally see Classic going up 3-1 in this and winning this series 3-1. I really do. I'm sorry, I'm typing it in here for you guys, but I don't see a problem. Now the top half is a little bit different. So we have Ambush taking on Status Quo. Now, I know you guys just heard me say a lot about veteran experience with Status Quo. Well, Ambush is the exact same way. The only difference is Ambush has 2 national champions and Status Quo has none. The 2 national champions, obviously, Pistola, who actually has the 4th most event wins in Halo history. And then you have Snipedown, who's just a god, right? So, veteran, it is an even playing field here in regards to veteran experience and veteran everything here. But I think when I look at it, the first thing I look at is aggressiveness, right? Status Quo takes takes the check mark right there, right away, for aggressiveness. Status quo is going to be much more aggressive than ambush. And recently, I've noticed that Formal has been grabbing the brainer on dispatch, so I'm assuming that he's kind of getting the sniper for his team again just because he's so aggressive. And now they're putting the sniper in the hands of Snipe Down back when it's like 49, 48, and they have the lead or they're down. They want Snipe Down to have it because he's much more clutch than Formal is. Formal is just very, very consistent, and he has the ability of just putting it on their face and ripping it off all times throughout the game. But so looking at it, ambush versus SQ, it's going to come down to game types. Game types are a very, very, very important thing. But with that said, regardless, I think ambush, even if the game types are completely against status quo, or against ambush, and really what I mean by that is there's game types where ambush doesn't seem as godly than as they do on some maps with snipers, right? Just because they have two of the best snipers in the fucking game on their team. So a maps with snipers, it's like rest in pieces, right? But so you get them on like Onyx Team Slayer, even though they're still really good at, like, they're really good. They don't really have that weakness. Like, in order for teams to beat ambush, they actually have to be playing out of their mind, right? Like, that's like ambush playing normal is other players playing out of their fucking mind. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you have no idea what you're talking about, but like, honestly, no one is gonna give ambush a run for their money anytime soon. It's a fact. So I think it may go the distance here. I think it may go to 5 games, especially if the game types are against ambush. But regardless, I have ambush taking it over status quo. It'll probably be 3-2, and really, the slaying power difference, like, Ace is gonna be. I like I said, I haven't watched status quo, but it's just thinking, right? Like, Ace, my question mark. Like, Enable can keep up kind of with the members of ambush, just kind of though, right? Ace, Flames are Dursky, right? Like, Dursky got the dick from Snipe Down at Pittsburgh. Got the dick. It's a different team. You're looking at individual skill here, right? Like, you have to. And like, the individual skill is so heavily in favor of ambush that it's kind of disgusting. So now, looking at the whole bracket here, we see this is going to be the winners bracket finals right here. Obviously, I already told you guys who I have winning the entire thing is going to be ambush. So I think this series will be really fucking good. It's going to be flashy, but it's going to be kind of like the same story as. It's going to be like a really, really exciting series, but I don't think it's going to be as crazy as people think it's going to be. I think it's probably going to be much more anticlimactic, kind of like Carbon 07 taking on Final Boss 07 in the 07 championships, right? And everyone knows Final Boss went 6-0 versus us. Now, all the games were close, but they edged it out, minus the TS Beaver Creek, I think. And there's probably another one that I fucking forgot, but, the games were close. They really were. Like, it was a 3-2 bomb. Everything was very close, and I think that's going to be the same scenario here. But now, so taking a look at it, right, like, I'm going to have, obviously I have ambush winning the entire thing. I'll just go ahead and throw them down here. But now, the main thing I want to talk about here before it ends is this series right here. Warriors is going to be in top 12. Now, that's going to put them at the exact same place they were at AGL Nashville, which was AGL5, which was 2 months ago, I think, something to that extent. And regardless, I still see Warriors coming to finish back in the top 3. Warriors is a team who I think we're finally at that point now in Halo 4, which is awesome for us as a scene, because everyone then knows their place. I think we're finally at a place where we have 3 really good teams, and then we have 1 just God team. Well, 2 really good teams and 1 God team. Ambush being the God team, the 2 really good teams being Pulse Classic and Warriors. Now, there's a lot of shit that can happen in the losers bracket, and the main reason why I want to take Classic is 1, because of their mentality, 2, because Warriors hasn't had fucking 3 weeks of playing like Classic has. Like, they've had a day of practice so far. Today's going to be their second day. They're looking at 5 days of practice with this squad, and when I take practice into consideration, I can't for the life of me, pick Warriors over them. So I think Warriors is going to climb back, and we're going to have a fucking hell of an 11-game series. Will it go the distance? Probably not. I think Pulse takes it 6-4 total if there is a continuation series. But so basically how I'm looking at it is just to run down. I'm going to probably go Ambush first, Pulse second, Warriors actually being third. Fourth would then be... Fourth may be Status Quo. I think that they have a real potential of getting fourth. Fifth, sixth will be Severance. Will be obviously one of them. I don't see them getting past top six. And then I think RC may sneak their way back into the top six. I think they've kind of solidified themselves as a top six team. And then from there, anything in the fucking world can happen, and that's that. So there's my bracket. Make your own. I can post a link on this, and you guys can, or I can post a link of the top 16 seeds and everything like that, and we guys can compare brackets. In fact, I'll even take it a step farther, and I'll give away one of these motherfuckers. I'm giving away one at Knoxville. I'll give away a squid grip to the person who beats my bracket. You beat my bracket. I'm only going to do one person. So it's not, I can't give it to fucking everyone who beats my bracket, right? Like, my bracket's kind of crazy. If you beat my bracket and I picked you, I'll give you a squid grip. So there's my challenge. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. This is going straight up on YouTube, so drop a comment. If you like it, like it. I like likes. You guys all know that. I love you. Peace.